welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we'll begin today's news with the major and top highlights. Celebration of the International Customs Day at the Ministry of Budget and Customs. And the international scene, Ukraine, US ready to hit hard economically in case of invasion. Those were the major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, received this morning his counterpart from Somaliland, accompanied by his compatriot, Minister of Defense. The senior officials of MACA took part in the meeting. The latter took place in a friendly atmosphere. The two ministers reviewed the bilateral relations between the Republic of Djibouti and Somaliland in different areas. They explored ways and means to improve them further. Under the auspice of the Ministry of Budget, the Directorate General of Customs and Excise celebrated today at the Kempinski the International Customs Day under the theme Accelerating the Digital Transformation of the Customs. The ceremony began with patriotic songs and skits relating to the work of custom officers. Digital customs and the use of digital systems to collect and safeguard custom duties, control the movement of goods, people, transportation, and money, and secure cross-border trade against crime. The Digital Customs Initiative aims to replace paper-based customs procedures with electronic operations to create a more efficient and modern customs environment in line with global development. Before the implementation, Djibouti Customs has used within the framework of customs cooperation the program Mirsal, owned by Dubai Customs in November 25, which has seen its limits in the management of all customs procedures, including the management of free zones, factories, warehouses, temporary admissions, and Ethiopian transit. Since 2012, the administration has opted for the implementation of iScuda World, which is so far effective in all points of entry and exit of goods. iScuda World is an automated custom management system that covers most accounting procedures, transit, and suspended regimes. Several personalities took part in the ceremony of the celebration of the International Day of the Customs, the members of the government, the parliamentarian, as well as the representatives of the system of the United Nations. At the end of the ceremony, the official gave certificates to different economic operators who collaborated with the customs and created a more efficient and modern custom environment in phase with the evolutions at the world level.
The parliamentarians, as well as the representative of the system of the United Nations. At the end of the ceremony, the officials gave certificates to the different economic operators who collaborate with the customs and create a more efficient and modern customs environment in phase with the evolution at the world level.
Eric Oververs is the resident coordinator of the United Nations system in Djibouti, was pleased to have participated in this day, which is celebrated every year in collaboration with the World Customs Organization. The Director General of Customs, Mr. Guled Ahmed Yusuf, stressed that the digital customs is understood as the use of digital systems to collect and preserve custom duties. The Minister of Budget, Mr. Isman Ibrahim Roble, in his speech, congratulated all custom officers on the occasion of the celebration of the International Day of Customs. Now we present to you a special reportage done by the RTD team on the International Day of Customs. Let's follow it.
The General Directorate of Customs and Indirect Taxes, which changed its name in 2005, became a member of the World Customs Organization in 2007. It is a sovereign administration under the supervision of the Ministry of Budget. It has a fiscal mission, collection of indirect duties and taxes, which constitute about 60% of national revenues, an economic mission to protect the economically against unfair practices such as counterfeiting or smuggling, and to facilitate international trade, in a security mission by fighting against drug and arms trafficking. In order to carry out its missions, the Customs Directorate General acquired the Mirsal system in Dubai in 2006. Faced with the same problems encountered by the Port of Durali in 2018, the Directorate General of Customs decided to break with the Dubai system in 2012 and called for assistance from UNCTAD to deploy the system as secured award. operated by more than 100 customs administrations in the world, unlike the Dubai system, which was managed exclusively by DP World and for which customs had to pay annual user fees. The Assecuda World system is an open system compliant with the international norms and the standards of the WCO and WTO, and has enabled customs to make technological leap forward in 2012 with a fourth version that is newer and more advanced. The story of the container TCLU 1578-84 begins with the customs. For its arrival in Djibouti, in some cases even before its loading in the ship. 72 hours before the arrival of the container in Djibouti, the shipping line represented by a shipping agency submits to Djibouti Customs the cargo manifest, which contains global information on the goods transported. To do this, Djibouti Customs has made available to shipping agencies a module in Assecuda World entitled Electronic Manifest, which allows them to send the manifest without having to go to the customs office. Once the ship arrives at the port of Djibouti, in our case the port of Durale, the management company of the container terminal of Durale proceeds to unload the container. In the meantime, the Ethiopian importer sends the document relating to the container to a forwarding agent in Djibouti, in our case, Bolloré, and entrusts him with the task of clearing the container through customs. Upon receipt of the letter from the Ethiopian importer, an agent of Bolloré moves to the premises of the shipping agency, in our case, Africa Shipping, to collect the transport title. After approval in the system Sitonia World, the shipping agency provides a copy of the transport title to the agent of Bolloré. After reception of the transport title by an agent of the transfer service of Bolloré, the latter proceeds to the registration of a remote customs declaration in Sitonia World. This same declaration is sent in real time to the Ethiopian customs via data exchange interface. On the declaration is registered and the identification number assigned. The agent starts in the same way, and remotely the generation of a document entitled roadmap or T1. This document will accompany the goods to their final destination, Ethiopia. Note that the forwarder can make his declaration at any time, 24/7. As you can see, it contains, in addition to the information on the transport goods, the plate number of the container truck, the container identification number, the customs stamp generated from Assecuda World, and the serial number. At this stage, the customs formalities are completed, and the forwarder only has to complete the port formalities to load the container and take it out of the port. The transit agent Bolloré transmits the customs declaration and the waybill entitled T1 to the driver of the truck parked at the Ethiopian heavy truck parking terminal located at PK12. The driver collects the documents from the Bolloré agent and starts the removal formalities at the SGTD to load the container. Once finished, the driver takes the road to Durale. At the entrance of the port of Durale, agents of the Customs Brigade proceed to the search of the truck after checking the waybill. The same truck will also be checked by the port security agents. After identifying the location of the container in the port, the SGTD loads the container onto its truck. A passage through a checkpoint of the port security agents who check the seal, the container number, and the plate number of the truck. Once the control is completed, the container truck heads to the port exit. Depending on certain criteria of selectivity, the agents of the scanner brigade proceed to a scan of the container to identify its contents and compare it with the information declared in the T1. Upon arrival of the last customs checkpoint at the exit of the port, the customs officers carried out a final check, verified the number plate of container truck, the number and condition of the seal, and proceed to search the truck of any suspicious product or contraband. Once finished, the customs officers in the control post notes in the system Assecuda World the exit of the container truck via a barcode reader. Carrying the container truck, driver takes the road to PK12, waiting for the visa from Ethiopian Customs Office in Djibouti. Once the visa is granted, the container is on its way to Ethiopia. Upon arrival in Dikhil, the container truck undergoes a thorough check by the customs officers. In Galafi, The agents of the border control posts of the customs carried out a last control of the documents and the container truck checked the state of the seal, the note in the system, Sidonia word via the barcode reader, the exit of the container from Djibouti. An agent of the transit office checks the documents submitted by the forwarder in Asikuda word. Once a declaration is registered, the waybill T1 is edited and the documents are given to the driver. The customs on its side holds all the information in its systems, and an agent of the transit office verifies the data of the declarations with the information contained in the scanned documents attached to it. However, the event of an error, the customs officer can prevent the container from exiting at the gate. This completes the procedure for clearing goods imported in Djibouti in transit to Ethiopia from the arrival of the ship to the exit from the territory.
And for this part, an interview was given by an expert on this domain, Mr. Wiraj. Let's listen to him.
I've been working in Djibouti for the last 13 years. Since till 2012, Djibouti Customs use old system called SAS, and we did a lot of work manually, and we spent a lot of time doing manual work and uploading manifest to the system, and also we had to submit manual copies of cargo manifest to the customs. After introduction of a new system called Sidonia, we see a remarkable improvement. The time we spend on manual work has been reduced drastically, and also the manual copies, hard copies that we used to submit previously has been eliminated. That is, I see as a remarkable improvement. We save a lot of time and also man hours. I'd like to thank direction of Deputy Customs for giving a training for my staff to handle this new system effectively and efficiently. And also thank for giving this opportunity for the shipping industry. It's a remarkable achievement and improvement that we see during last couple of years.
Under the theme Islam is the religion of harmony, brotherhood, and tolerance, the Institute Al-Wastaniya in the Culture of Peace of the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and Waqfs organized this morning at the People's Palace a public meeting that brought together the great reciter of the Quran, Sheikh Abdul Rashid Al-Sufi, and the ulamas, imams, and preachers in Djibouti. The opening session of this meeting, which was held under the auspice of the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and Waqfs, Mr. Mu'min Hassan Bere, was attended by the Secretary General of the Ministry, Mr. Shuaib Bajal, the Director General of the Institute of Moderation and Culture of Peace, as well as executives of the Ministry. It should be noted that one of the main tasks entrusted to the Institute of Al-Wastani and Culture of Peace is to highlight the approach of modernization in advocacy, understanding, thinking, and behavior, increasing the energies and capabilities of imams and preachers, organizing training, in addition to organizing conferences and practical forums, and advocacy and preparing studies and research. In his speech at the meeting, the Somali Grant reciter stressed the pioneering role played by the ulama in consolidating and strengthening these values in the Islamic society. He also expressed his thanks and gratitude to the Ministry of Islamic Affairs and Endowments for the warm welcome and hospitality, affirming to the great tasks entrusted to the Al-Wastani Institute and the Culture of Peace. As for His Excellency, the Minister of Islamic Affairs, who sponsored this meeting, he indicated that it constitutes an opportunity to benefit from the wisdom and knowledge of this divine scholar and one of the great researchers in the Arab and Islamic world, namely Sheikh Abdul Rashid Al-Sufi. Under the chairmanship of the Honorable Hassan Adan Gede, the Standing Committee on Social Development and Environmental Protection met this Wednesday, January 26, to consider the draft law on the new General Statute of Civil Services. This meeting, which saw the participation of parliamentarians, members, and non-members of the committee, took place in the presence of Mr. Umar Abdi Said, Minister of Labor in charge of Formalization and Social Protection, assisted by the Senior Administration of the State Department. After broad exchange of views between parliamentarians and the executives, the committee has transmitted with favorable opinion and proposed amendments the corpus on the rights and duties of the civil service. the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, at the head of a large delegation is on a working mission in Germany since January 23rd. The day after his arrival, the senior Djiboutian official was warmly received in the office of the Minister of Economy in charge of climate by the German Federal Secretary of State for Economy and Climate Protection. Minister Yunus Ali Gede was accompanied during this meeting by the ambassador of Djibouti in Germany, Mr. Yassin, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Yusuf, the Director of Energy, Mr. Gulaid Mohammed, and finally the Director General of the SIHD, Mr. Dabar Al-Hedi. An exchange described as rich and fruitful by both parties around the issues discussed, including energy policies, government, which the German ambassador was keen to congratulate the authorities of Djibouti for the resilience of reforms implemented in the sector globally. According to the two parties, it should be noted that the visit of the delegation of the Ministry of Energy Resources in Germany marks, in fact, a remarkable enhancement of relations between the two countries. Mr. Yassin Hussein Douali, ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti, auxiliated in Austria with residence in Berlin, presented last Friday, January 21, 2022, at the headquarters of the International Atomic Energy Agency, his credentials to the Director General of the agency, Mr. Rafael Mario Grossi. First of all, the ambassador wanted to convey the greetings to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, and those of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. He expressed his willingness to further strengthen the cooperative relations that exist between the Republic of Djibouti and the IEA. The Director General welcomed the new Parliament representative of the Republic of Djibouti to the agency and expressed his support to him in the accomplishment of his mission. He also asked him to convey his warm greetings to the President of the Republic and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He also stressed the importance that the agency attaches to the development of relations with our country. In this regard, a sustainable technical cooperation program was adopted in favor of the Republic of Djibouti last December. The Director General and the Ambassador finally exchanged on some projects that are implemented in cooperation with the IAEA and which are useful to the achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals. Moving on to the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti in France, Mr. Ayed Moussa Yahya, proceeded on Wednesday, January 26 on behalf of the Republic of Djibouti to the signing of the convention creating the International Organizations of Aids to Maritime Navigation during a ceremony organized for this purpose at the headquarters of the International Association of Maritime Signals in Saint-Germain. The ambassador was accompanied during this ceremony by the Director of Maritime Affairs, Mr. Ali Mirah Shehem Dawood of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Equipment, Consul at the Embassy of Djibouti in France. The states parties decided to change the current statute of IALA from a non-governmental organization to an intergovernmental organization by creating these conventions on the International Organization for Marine Aids to Navigation. All member states of the United Nations, and in particular the other signatories of the final act of the Kuala Lumpur Conference, were invited to sign this convention at the protocol of the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs, where it is kept, and then to pursue its ratification. A ceremony marking the official opening of the initial signing of the Convention on the establishment of the International Organizations for Marine Aids to Navigation was held on January 27 in Paris and has since reached 24 signatures and 4 ratifications. At this final ceremony organized today by the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs, representing the distributed 26 countries, including ours, have proceeded to the signature of the Convention in order to reach the 30 signatures, expected to move on to the ratification or accession for those who have not signed. Moving on to the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity in close collaboration with UNICEF, who conducted this morning, January 26, 2022, a workshop on the promotion and adoption of essential social practices at Sheraton Hotel. It is a training of trainees national pool in communication techniques and community engagement, a training of trainees to build the capacity of mass behavior change or communications. The objective of this training is to teach participants, journalists, on the essential social practices and journalists on its interpersonal communication for more promoting social momentum. Participating in this event, the senior staff of MAS, a representative of UNICEF, as well as many practitioners of communications of MAS. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Affairs noted that all practices are well known in East and West African countries, as the specificity of Djibouti is to shed light on the issue of empowerment in this context, ask questions related to the behavior that should be followed in order for the family to become self-sufficient. And we worked with the concerned authorities in order for the family to become self-sufficient through the development of a communication strategy. As part of the capacity building of our athletes, this afternoon marked the departure of a delegation of Djiboutian athletes to the neighboring countries of Uganda, Kenya, and Ethiopia. As part of the preparations of the World Athletics Championships accompanied by the President of the Djibouti Athletics Federation, Mr. Said Ismail Hassan, Djibouti athletes went to prepare with a specific preparation and train more, whether the 3,000, 5,000 meters, and the half marathon. The objective is to achieve the minimum to participate in the World Athletics Championships in July. The President of the National Olympic Committee, Madam Aisha Garad Ali, wished the young athletes good luck and encouraged them for their journey. to announce the death of Ruqiyya Ma'alin the day before yesterday in Djibouti. The deceased left behind 7 children and 27 grandchildren in this painful circumstances. We send our sincerest condolences to the family and relatives of the deceased. May God welcome her in His vast eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, economic threats from the United States and the sound of Russian boots. Washington insisted on Tuesday on the sanctions that will be imposed on Russia and Vladimir Putin himself in the event of the invasion of Ukraine, while Moscow has launched military maneuvers at the country's doorstep. To a journalist who asked him on Tuesday if he could consider personally sanctioning the Russian president, John Biden answered yes. Well, by this hour, beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for joining us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening and thank you once again for joining. Take care.